Hey, what's up everyone? It's Sarah from Macros Queen Fitness and Nutrition, and I'm about to reveal to you one of my most valuable tips on staying on track. You want to know how to make this diet more of a lifestyle change versus a strict eating plan or a strict diet? I'll let you know. I'm going to fill you in on the secret. You guys ready? It's, drum roll please, controlled cheating. Cheating? What's that? Is that where I'm gonna eat like 8 pieces of pizza and 5 bagels and I'm just gonna eat 17 cupcakes and get to eat whatever the heck I want? How is that gonna work? How am I gonna lose weight that way? I'll let you know. I'm gonna go through a scenario that's gonna make this a little bit easier to understand. So indulging or cheating is one of the most misunderstood concepts within dieting. People often think that when they're dieting, all they're allowed to eat is plain chicken breast and veggies and nothing else. Or they think, oh, okay, all I have to do is eat salads and measure out my salad dressing and I'm good. Sorry to tell you, that's so far from the truth. Does this sound familiar so far? So this is where controlled cheating comes into play. If you learn how to master this skill, this very well could be the key to your success. So majority of people have issues with emotional eating. Does this sound like you? You're stressed, you eat. You're sad, you eat. You're bored, so you eat. So what do? You go on a freaking strict diet. You're like, okay, this is it. I'm losing weight. You start to tell yourself, no carbs, no sweets, no bread. All I'm going to eat is chicken, broccoli, and a ton of water. And I'm going to do cardio like 7 days a week. You're finally going to get your weight loss goals in check. So what do? You gather up all your motivation and you start to eat clean. This will last for a couple days, couple weeks. If you're lucky, it's going to last for maybe a month. You start to see the scale moving. So you're like, okay, well, it's working. I'm losing weight, right? However, you're miserable. You're declining every invite to go out with friends and family because you're dieting. You eventually will crack. But nobody's going to explain this to you. Because the scale's moving, you think, this is working. This is my new life, despite feeling unsatisfied. Little do you realize that during this time, this is not going to be able to last forever. You're not going to be able to decline every invite to go out with friends and family. You're not going to be able to get away from every party, every opportunity to be at a social event. Life happens. It gets in the way. That's normal. So what do most people do when this happens, when they have social events or holidays are coming up? They take a break. That's right. They think, okay, I'm taking a break from my diet. And then what happens? Well, sorry to let you guys know that you completely fall off track. You start eating like you did prior to your strict diet, but this time you're going to eat even more food than you ever did before. Why? Because you can't control yourself. You haven't had pizza in forever. You haven't had those greasy burgers in forever. You haven't had all of that yummy food in forever. So you overindulge. This is the same story that yo-yo dieters go through time in and time out. So media often tells us that there's 2 types of people out there. There's A, the very strict dieters, or there's B, the lazy people, the lazy overweight people who just don't give a flying crap. But why does it have to be like that? It never works, and there's only a small percentage of people who can actually eat strict for long periods of time. Eventually, you'll crack. Most of us, strict dieting is never a solution. So instead, we have to learn how to eat intuitively by listening to our body cues, and we have to start planning ahead of time. This will allow flexibility into your diet, and it will also help you feel unrestricted. So, what I want you to do, what I'm suggesting, is to start planning your indulging or your cheat meals ahead of time and allow them on a regular basis. So what do I mean by this? Once a week, allow yourself to go to a restaurant or eat something that you normally haven't had during the week or that you normally don't eat every day. This helps prevent binges, and it also helps prevent sugar cravings. If you're telling yourself no to every little thing that you loved before you started your diet, I'm sorry to tell you that eventually you're going to fall off track and you're going to give in. Because when you're telling yourself no, that's when your body wants it 100 times more than if you were telling yourself that you can have it. So what are the benefits of this controlled cheating? Well, when you know you have a cheat meal coming up, you're going to have that much more willpower to resist every temptation that life is about to throw at you. You know what I'm talking about. You go to work, you walk into that break room, you see a thing of bagels or a pan of brownies that your coworker just had to bake because they were bored last night. And now you're sitting there being tempted. Do I have a piece? Do I have one of those bagels? Or should I just go with what I packed in my own lunch? It's gonna happen. We've all been there. When you are allowing flexibility, or you know that you have a reward or cheat meal coming up, you're gonna start to think more clearly about your food choices, and you're ultimately going to make healthier choices. Versus if you're in that full-blown binge mode and you're just like, you're grabbing anything and everything that you can get your hands on. And then what happens? You feel way over guilty. You tell yourself that you're a failure and that you're fat, you're a failure, and it's a vicious cycle. This does not have to be the case. If we start to allow flexibility, you can start to plan accordingly. If you allow yourself to have a weekly cheat meal, that's probably going to be the easiest thing to help people stay on track. And it's going to prevent them from picking unhealthy options on a daily basis. So how often should you do it? Well, some people do it once a month. Some people do it twice a week. Some people do it. It's basically up to them. What I'm suggesting, especially if you are trying to clean up your eating and you're at the beginner stage, allow it once a week. This will allow flexibility, and you'll start to learn how to read your body cues, and you'll start to actually enjoy food versus getting into those emotional eating binges when you're trying to cover up all the painful emotions that you're experiencing or the stresses that you're having, and you're trying to cover it all up. If you're being flexible, you're going to be more mindful, and you're going to start to get positive feelings when you're around food versus feelings of guilt. This is a very important skill that not all people have, and it's a skill that you should try to develop and to incorporate into your daily lives. So when you know that you're going to indulge or you're going to have a cheat meal, you're going to start to feel more satisfied. You're not going to be guilty all the time. So what's the takeaway from all this? Well, the takeaway is that if you start to plan accordingly, you're going to be that much more successful. If cheating on a diet has never been an issue, then ignore everything I just said and go about how you've always eaten. But if you're an emotional eater like the majority of Americans, or you find yourself easily distracted, you might want to take this little piece of advice, and it could be the life-changing tool that helps you get to your weight loss goals. If you like more tips and tricks on weight loss and how to get to your goals, follow me on Instagram at Macros Queen Fitness. So that's it for today. If you guys have any questions, comment down below and I'll be glad to answer them. Have a good one.